Okay, here we go. Radical Jack. 2 days to go. I've just been in the sauna, and it's most likely going to be my second or third last. Maybe two more saunas. Yeah, I've decided. Coincidentally, my membership ends on the 15th, so synchronicity again. It was a bit like, well, should I join for another 3 months and continue the saunas? And through various bits of conversation and signs, it kind of feels like that maybe I ought not to do it. Fasting is one thing. I suppose I could be losing salts and stuff like that, and I'm not quite sure about the whole salt intake in the first place. Certainly, I'd like to have a bath once a week, especially the seaweed bath, full of minerals, and I could add Epsom salts to that. Apparently, the body soaks up that a lot easier and quicker. I will definitely be taking a little mixture of salts through the mouth. Thanks to all the people in the Park Hotel Sauna. Really nice people. Really, really beautiful leisure centre. Really clean. Except for the links. 5 guys spraying links in the dressing room one day, and every other day it's the same thing, and I'm like choking, and it's quite an interesting subject, we're back to cosmetics here again, and it's like, the amount of money that we spend in cosmetics, and there's no every time I'm in there's somebody spraying links. There's no doubt about it. Like, so, and pretty much like at least 50%, if not 75% of those characters I've approached in the nicest possible way, really gentle, really, really sweet, and just, they would just come around and think, God, I never looked at it like that. I never looked at it like that before, and it was like, boof, like the penny dropped. And it kind of goes to show you that, how programmed we are. I've been there, we've all been there, and to be compassionate towards people, but really it does. It's full of chemicals. It chokes me, and I think, smoking's been banned from public places. Maybe the Park Hotel, maybe other guys are going to, nationwide, worldwide, like ban aerosols like that from dressing rooms in public places, because, I like smoking, one shouldn't have to breathe in someone else's links. And it's like, it's always like, shh, 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 all over the shop. And it's just like, sometimes right in your face. And it's like, it really makes me, gag. So, these are the things. This is what this is about. It's about consciousness and helping people along the path to become more aware of what we do, because the links ads are amazing, aren't they? They're like just unbelievable. Like, they're so cool and chic and just like funny and like, but when you're not fully awake, or you're easily influenced like children, and sometimes the program never changes. Some people are thick about it. They're like, well, it's not doing any harm, and in reality, really, in my opinion, it's just blocking your pores. It's not doing you any favors. Like I said before, maybe you put a couple of lavender drops on your shoulder, somewhere like that, your temples, and women are like, what's that smell? You might even get a date out of it, But there you go. It's one of those things. So, but yeah, thanks to Ryan today for inspiring that thought when he was asking me for my channel and stuff, and it just made me think that, yeah, this is it. This is why I'm doing this. It's not for fame or fortune or anything like that, but just to share information. I aim to one day completely get off the internet, and that's it. As I slowly work my way back onto the land and live a sustainable lifestyle, and not have this thing at my ear, or not have, I maybe use it occasionally, it might happen, like that, but I don't want to be. I want to be in an environment that's not got these airwaves and these lines of Wi-Fi going through my body. You know, I don't want it. I don't think it's right. I don't, and I think, you know, we look back on this era as a really bad time. You know, I'm into the inner mind. I'm into that you know, the idea that, you know, we once were psychic. You know, and I have psychic experiences. You know, we always know who's on the end of the phone, or, you know, if you think of somebody, because I didn't carry a mobile phone for 8 years, so, you know, and I used to just send psychic text to people, you know, and they would come out into the street that exact time, you know, and I'd ask them, and they would say, yeah, actually, you know, I was thinking about you, and then boom. And you know that story, you know, when you think of someone you haven't seen for a long time, and then you bang straight into them because they, you know, they're in that town or that place, and you know, you pick up on that energy, you know. This is how we did it in the old days, long before phones. So, you know, I mean, I hope to my next place will have a landline, and I'll be able to, like the old Charlie's Angels, you know, the little box, you know, and just have a little mic, you know, and speak into that and do all my calls like that, you know, and yeah, you know, God bless the internet, you know, for all that it is and all this pure potentiality, you know, but we got to use it while we can, in order to get into a place where we're living almost technology-less, you know, but you know, finding a fine balance between, you know, some of the beautiful things that technology is creating, or you know, that will help with free energy potentially and all that kind of stuff. Yes, I'm very much into that, you know, but you know, it's like spending all our time on the phone, you know, with this thing to our ear, frying our brains, you know, whatever, you know, this is not good, you know, and if it is truly affecting the bees, you know, we need to look at this. We need to look at this completely. So, you know, it's lifestyle choice, and it's also where we're at the moment, you know, and there's a lot of information out there that says this radiation, you know, what do you call it, G4, G5 is not good, is, you know. Certainly, like children, they're getting phones younger and younger. It's not good. It just doesn't look good. It doesn't feel right, you know. So anyway, you know, sorry, I got off on tangents sometimes, but you know, Ryan today, he just made me think. You know, this is it. This like, you know, 95% of the population out there, you know, they don't have access to the information that's available, you know. And you know, they believe what the doctor says, you know, and you know, the doctor's just writing prescriptions, you know. They used to look in the eye. They used to be able to read the eye, you know, the retina. You know, they used to put out your tongue. They'd read your tongue, your nails, you know. None of that anymore. So what the doctors are, they're like drug dealers, you know. They're just signing prescriptions, you know, and you know, it's crazy. Like, so, you know, this place, this internet at the moment is the information's there. But people are so, you know, distracted by some of the really fancy stuff, you know, and the glitter and the lights and all that kind of stuff, that easily distracted into, you know, nonsensical kind of, you know, time wasting, you know, that's not feeding anything, you know, you're not getting anything of weight, you know, any information that might help or serve you or heal you or whatever. And that information's out there at the moment. You know, and when it's good, it's usually debunked and damned, you know. As an example, there's a guy called, what's his name? Jim Humble. What a name, Jim Humble. MMS, Mineral Miracle Supplement. You know, it cures malaria in 40 minutes. I mean, it's the number one killer on the planet, they say. And I've met indirect people who've taken this on over the years. A friend of mine, you know, who had his best friend, his mum went out and she went missing when she went to Africa because they were curing people, you know. And it's like the pharmaceutical business, they don't want this, you know. They've tried to shut Jim Humble down many times and debunk him and da, you know. But this MMS, it's a mineral miracle supplement. It oxygenates the blood, the body, you know, and it cures a lot of things. I saw something on autism once that was mind blowing. They'd spend $200,000 trying to cure their child of autism, you know, and MMS worked. It actually worked, you know. So it's it's really interesting anyway, you know, because there's a lot of stuff out there, you know. Niacin. I've talked about this before, you know, curing schizophrenia, depression, ADHD, you know, amazing stuff, you know. And that was around in the 50s, 60s, and you know, it's not top shelf information at all, you know. It's never been, you know, what do you call it, properly, introduced, where it could have, it could take out all the other, the prescribed retinol and all this kind of stuff, that obviously the pharmaceutical business is making a lot of money on. So this is also what this is about, sharing information. And then when I disappear from the camera, boom, somebody else appears, hopefully, with a better version of that message and an easier way of getting that across. And because, it's going to take a long time for us to disconnect, from the Wi-Fi, the mobile phone, the computer, the stuff that, it was 2008. It's 2007, 8, when I had my first email, it's not that long ago. And it's like shocking to see as well also that YouTube's only been around for 10, 12 years. It feels like it's been around forever. It's just so interesting, this whole story, So yeah, quite exciting. I've got a couple of days to go, the 88th, day, it seems to keep coming up, It's very interesting that on the dark of the moon, which is the night before the first sliver of moon, when you do that cycle of 28 days 3 times, in other words, you go dark of the moon to new moon, dark of the moon to new moon, dark of the moon to new moon, or dark of the moon to new moon, and then kind of like, you end the day before the next new moon. It's 88 days, and it's quite interesting. I love numbers, the way that works. It's not coincidental, there is an intelligent design, if you like, and I love that kind of unseen hand, that force, like there's this energy around us that's constantly pushing us towards a better version of ourselves, and giving us the keys and the tunes and the tools to do the things that will, help us realize our dreams, And so, part of that dream for me is music and poetry and song and storytelling, which is why I got the harp. And, this whole thing is supposed to just springboard me into a new way of life. Doing away with all the doubt that I've had over the years, and all the falls, and all the self-sabotage, and and I feel like I've picked up a few keys, on how to get out of this and into that, and free as many birds with one stone as possible. This is really truly what this is all about for me. And I feel blessed, to be in this situation, that I'm not still stuck in those places, dark places, or being in, prison, or, and even being in prison and not being in prison, if you know what I mean, and kind of like, being a slave to the man, that doesn't really care about you, or, a nonsensical job, or whatever the case may be, and bless all your hearts. It's so hard, for everybody that is in some way tuned into that aspect of the machine, But hopefully one day, there's more and more people going to spread more and more information, and as I said before, I think once we get our food and shelter sorted, because those are the two things that we're controlled by, the mortgage on the one hand, and trying to get the money to keep the food on the table and pay the bills. And then, with the amount of stress that comes with that, it's very difficult to keep the good diet. And, and if you're brought up in a particular way, it's really difficult to break out of that, break that habit, So this is what we are going to be talking about, This is what we're going to be philosophizing about, and I'm going to be introducing characters to you that speak better than I at it and are more qualified, and I'm just the bridge. I've always just been a bridge. I'm like a mediator, that's my job. I accept that. I'd like to master the harp or the guitar, and the spoken word and storytelling. Maybe I'll be 90 and one day I'll go, wow, you made it. But I don't know what I'm good at really, other than just like trying to be a bridge. So it's really hard to keep looking at the side of the phone. Yeah. So blessings to all of you, and thank you for subscribing, and lots of love and peace.